February 12, 2026. Wall Street's routine shattered by a single headline. Beijing makes largest single-month dump of U.S. Treasuries on record. The trading floor erupted. Phones rang off the hook. Panic spread. In Beijing, officials stayed silent. No speeches, just a cold, calculated move in the language of financial filings. China, America's top foreign creditor, had just sold $50 billion in U.S. Treasury bonds. An unprecedented, unmistakable message to Washington. The Nikkei tumbled. London's FTSE opened sharply lower. Times Square's screens flashed red arrows. For years, experts debated, what if China stops buying our debt, or starts selling? On this day, the hypothetical became reality. This wasn't just a market story. It was a geopolitical maneuver, a flex of economic muscle amid rising tensions. The world watched, breath held, as the U.S. faced a new kind of power play. For everyday Americans, the jargon of bonds and yields would soon hit home, affecting mortgages, groceries, and retirement accounts. The era of financial détente was over. The global order had just shifted. What did China do? They flipped from the world's biggest buyer to a massive seller of U.S. Treasuries. For decades, China parked its trade surplus in U.S. bonds. Safe, stable, reliable. No longer. This $50 billion sale wasn't a slow retreat. It was a bold, deliberate slash. On one hand, it's defensive. China's worried about America's ballooning debt and the risk of a devalued dollar eroding their holdings. On the other, it's a warning. Washington, you're not the only one who can weaponize finance. By dumping treasuries, China signals it can disrupt U.S. markets and leverage its creditor status. This is about de-dollarization. China wants a world less dominated by the U.S. dollar. Selling treasuries is a step toward building a new financial order, one less tied to Washington's whims. The message, U.S. financial supremacy, is no longer a given. The global chessboard just got a new opening move. Beijing's maneuver is both shield and sword. The world is watching who blinks next. The stakes have never been higher. China's sell-off hit the U.S. bond market like a shockwave. When $50 billion in treasuries flood the market, prices drop and yields spike, meaning higher interest rates for everyone. The 10-year treasury yield soared, setting off a chain reaction. Mortgages, car loans, student debt, all more expensive overnight. For the U.S. government, higher rates mean ballooning costs to service its massive debt. Lawmakers now face tough choices: cut spending, raise taxes, or borrow even more at higher rates. Globally, the move rattled confidence in treasuries as the world's safe haven. Other countries holding U.S. debt are nervous. Will they sell too? A domino effect could trigger a global financial crisis. China's message isn't just to Washington. It's a tremor shaking the entire U.S.-centric financial system. The world's faith in American stability is suddenly in question. The rules of the game have changed. The consequences are just beginning. Everyone is recalculating their next move. To grasp the stakes, look back at the U.S.-China financial marriage. Americans bought trillions in Chinese goods, sending dollars to Beijing. China recycled those dollars into U.S. treasuries, funding America's spending spree. This kept China's currency cheap and U.S. interest rates low. A win-win until now. The relationship was called mutually assured financial destruction. If either side pulled the plug, both would suffer. But trust has eroded. Trade wars, tech battles, and rising rivalry have cracked the foundation. China now sees its U.S. debt holdings as both a vulnerability and a weapon. The gradual trimming of treasuries has become a strategic retreat. The world's biggest communist country was once America's banker. Now, it's pulling back. The era of easy money and uneasy partnership is ending. The financial dance is over. The standoff has begun. Both sides are bracing for impact. The global economy hangs in the balance. This isn't just Wall Street drama. It's Main Street reality. Meet Sarah and Tom, first-time homebuyers. Last month's mortgage rate, 5.5%. Today, 6.25%. Their dream home slips away. Maria, a small business owner, faces higher loan costs. Expansion plans stall. Jobs go unfilled. Retiree David watches his 401k shrink as markets plunge. Groceries and gas get pricier as the dollar weakens. Even local governments feel the pain. Higher borrowing costs mean delayed bridges and schools. Multiply these stories nationwide, and you see the ripple effect. China's move in Beijing hits wallets in Chicago, Miami, and everywhere in between. The abstract just got personal. The cost of global power plays lands on everyday Americans. In Washington, panic turned to crisis mode. Emergency meetings, urgent calls, how to stabilize the markets and reassure the world. With China selling, who buys America's debt now? The Fed can print money, but that risks inflation. Domestic investors and allies may step in, but only at a higher price. On Capitol Hill, blame flies. Was it foreign policy missteps or Chinese aggression? The president faces bad options: negotiate, escalate, or make painful domestic cuts. The era of easy foreign money is over. America's vulnerability is exposed, and the reckoning can't be delayed any longer. The shockwaves are global. U.S. allies like Japan and the U.K., major holders of treasuries, face a dilemma: hold or sell. If they sell, panic spreads. If they hold, they risk losses. Japan scrambles to coordinate with Washington, trying to steady the market. Meanwhile, BRICS nations see opportunity. Maybe it's time to accelerate their own de-dollarization. For developing countries, a stronger dollar and higher rates mean debt crises loom. The world's financial map is being redrawn. Every nation is rethinking its strategy. China's move forces a global recalibration. The old order is under threat. The next moves will shape the future of global finance. Wall Street's public face. Don't panic, the U.S. market is strong. Privately, risk managers brace for volatility. Economists warn, this is a structural shift, not a blip. The era of cheap debt is ending. Washington's official line: America's credit is sound. But behind closed doors, concern runs deep. Beijing stays vague, insisting it's just prudent reserve management. No politics here. No one buys it. The timing and scale say otherwise. Analysts agree. This was a calculated show of power. The world's financial leaders are on edge. The message: adapt or be left behind. The global balance is shifting. Fast. Should Washington worry? Absolutely. The U.S. faces a new era of financial rivalry and constraint. Watch the Treasury market. Will others sell or step in? Will the Fed print more money, risking inflation? Diplomatic signals matter. Will this spark talks or a deeper Cold War? Most crucial, will America finally address its debt or keep kicking the can? China has made its move. The world is watching for America's answer. The next chapter starts now.